Now, to illustrate, okay, so Aldo died leaving the following property. So in this case, si Aldo daw is married. And so we have to determine, or we will determine in this illustration if a property is exclusive or conjugal or exclusive or communal under conjugal partnership of gains or under absolute community of properties. Letter A. Real property in Baguio City brought into marriage. So, what do you mean by brought into marriage? Meaning, properties na niya yan prior to Aldo's marriage. Ayan. Worth 300,000. Under conjugal partnership of gains, lahat ng properties before or lahat ng properties ng spouse before the marriage is part of his or her exclusive property. Under absolute community of properties naman, part yan ng kanyang communal or community property. Yung mga properties ng husband or ng wife prior to their marriage or those properties brought into marriage. Next is income of real property in Baguio. So itong property doon niya sa letter A, merong income, no? Merong income or fruits. Ayan, income or fruits. Okay? So worth 60,000. So under conjugal partnership of gains, okay? So kapag merong fruits, no? During marriage, lahat ng properties niya, exclusive man yan or conjugal, yung fruit doon or yung fruit nun, or income of that property is part of the conjugal properties under conjugal partnership of gains. Now, under absolute community property naman, again, fruit follows principal. Dahil si Baguio is communal or community property siya under absolute community property, then the fruits is also part of the community property. The fruit of the real property in letter A. Letter C, real property in Cebu City brought into marriage by wife. So, si wife daw, merong properties, no, worth 240,000 brought into marriage or property niya prior to their marriage with Aldo. And reminder, okay, yung kinukompute natin dito is the exclusive and conjugal properties of Aldo. Ayan. So, kasi baka si Aldo kasi yung decedent dito. Ayan. So, we are computing the properties, the exclusive and conjugal or community properties no, of Aldo under both property regimes. Ayan. So, again, back to the illustration. Letter C, no, may real property daw si wife. Ayan. Prior to the marriage pa. Ayan. Kasi brought into marriage. For 240,000. Under conjugal partnership of gains, hindi iyon part ng conjugal property nila. Kasi nga, lahat ng properties ni husband o ni wife prior to their marriage, under conjugal partnership of gains, exclusive properties nila yon. Kaya hindi siya conjugal property ng nilang dalawa, ni Aldo at saka ng kanyang wife. Okay? And remember, we are computing here, no, the exclusive property and the conjugal or community property of the decedent Aldo. Kaya hindi natin i-include si wife dito under conjugal partnership of gains. Now, under absolute community of property naman, lahat ng properties before and during marriage ni husband or ni wife, magiging community property nila yon. Kaya ang 240,000 na property ni wife during marriage, magiging co-owner niya si husband or si Aldo. Therefore, community property nila yon under absolute community. Number 5, merong income si property ni wife sa letter C. Ayan. So, that's 25,000. Remember, again, under a conjugal partnership of gains, lahat ng fruits or income ng exclusive or conjugal properties, magiging conjugal property yung income or yung fruit. Under absolute community of properties naman, the fruit follow principle. Dahil yung real property is community property nila under absolute community of properties, then yung fruit nun is magiging community property din nila. Okay? Letter E. House in Pili, Camarines Sur, acquired by Aldo during marriage. So, meron dang bahay na inacquire si Aldo during marriage. Or, yes, during marriage nila. Ayan. Kaya, worth 375,000. So again, under conjugal partnership of gains, as a general rule, lahat ng properties na na-acquire during marriage is part of the conjugal properties. Unless, again, part siya ng exemption. Okay? So in this case, kasi silent yung problem, so therefore, yung property na yon, part yon ng conjugal properties nila. Kasi acquired during marriage. Under conjugal partnership of gains. Under absolute commutative properties naman, still part yun. Kasi lahat ng properties during or before marriage, under absolute commutative properties, that property will be considered as a community property. Now, income of house in Pili, letter E. Okay? Income ng property in letter E. So, 50,000. Ayan. So, still, again, during marriage, lahat ng fruit, okay, ng exclusive properties at ng conjugal properties, magiging conjugal property yung fruit. Okay, 50,000, conjugal property. Under community property, okay, again, the fruit follows principal. Kaya, the 50,000 fruit will also be under community property. Now, letter G, real property in Iloilo City, earned by wife during marriage. Ayan. So, na-earned ng wife during marriage, maybe because of profession or labor or industry. 225,000. Kaya, magiging part yun ng conjugal properties. Remember, under conjugal partnership of gains, all the properties acquired through labor, industry, or profession of each of the spouse shall form part of the conjugal properties of both the spouse. Ayan. Kaya the 225,000 will form part of the conjugal properties under conjugal partnership of gains. Under absolute community property naman, that's also part of the community property. Kasi nga, acquired during marriage. 225,000. Income of real property in Iloilo City. So, income of the property in letter G. Okay? So, again, as a rule, the fruit, okay, is part of the conjugal properties under conjugal partnership of gains. And dito naman, the fruit follows principal under absolute community property na regime. Since community property yung real property ni Iloilo City, kaya yung income niya o yung fruit niya will also form part of their community property. Letter I, tangible personal property in Manila inherited by Aldo during marriage. Now, ito yung properties na na-inherit ni Aldo during marriage. So, na-receive niya or na-acquire niya by gratuitous title. During marriage, kaya part yan ng exclusive property niya. Remember, under conjugal partnership of gains, lahat ng properties na na-acquire during marriage by gratuitous title is exclusive property niya yon. The same goes with the absolute commutative properties, magiging exclusive property din ni Aldo yon. The income of properties in Manila, ayan, so that's 175,000. Again, it doesn't matter kung under conjugal partnership of gains, it doesn't matter kung exclusive or conjugal property yung nagkaroon ng income or fruit. Okay, basta lahat ng fruit is part of the conjugal properties, no? If that fruit is earned, okay, during marriage from all the exclusive and conjugal properties of the spouse. Ayan. Kaya 175,000 conjugal. Under community absolute community property, the fruit follow principal. The principal is exclusive, kaya yung fruit niya exclusive din. Letter K, intangible personal properties in Singapore inherited by wife during marriage. 430,000. So, na-inherit daw ng wife during marriage. Okay? So, lahat ng properties acquired by a gratuitous title during marriage under conjugal partnership of gains and absolute community properties or will be the exclusive property of the wife. Kaya, hindi siya part ng conjugal or community property. Exclusive property yun ni wife. Remember, yung kinukompute natin dito na exclusive property is the exclusive property of the decedent. Aldo. Ayan. Income of intangible in Singapore. So, mayroon daw income yung intangible ni wife sa Singapore for 85,000. Under conjugal partnership of gains, kahit na exclusive property yun ni wife, magiging conjugal property pa rin yung fruit nun. Ayan. Under absolute cumulative property naman, fruit follows principal. Kaya, dahil yung property na yon is exclusive property ni wife, kaya yung fruit sa property na exclusive for the wife is also exclusive to the wife or exclusive property of the wife, kaya hindi siya magiging community property dito under absolute community of property. Tangible personal property in Dagupan City inherited by Aldo before marriage. So merong inheritance si Aldo before marriage. Tangible personal property. That's 20,000. Okay? So, lahat ng inheritance, no? Before marriage, okay? Or lahat ng properties, ayan, under conjugal partnership of gains, lahat ng properties before marriage is exclusive property yan. Kaya it doesn't matter kung acquired ba niya yan by onerous or gratuitous title. Basta properties na yan before marriage, under conjugal partnership of gains, exclusive yan sa spouse. Dahil kay Aldo yan, kay exclusive property yan ni Aldo. Under absolute community property naman, kahit na na-inherit yan, okay, or na-acquire yan by a gratuitous title, before marriage man, di ba yung rule natin, kapag dinonate yan or na-inherit yan during marriage, dyan lang siya magiging exclusive property under both regime. Okay? Kaya dito, since na-inherit niya yan before marriage pa, okay, so magiging part yan ng community property under absolute community property na regime. Pero pag na-inherit niya yan during marriage, okay, during marriage, magiging exclusive pa rin yan dito at magiging exclusive din yan dito ni Aldo. Okay, dahil before marriage yan, again, exclusive pa rin yan under conjugal partnership of gains, pero magiging community property na yan under absolute community of properties. Next, income of property in Dagupan City. Ayan, lahat ng property, lahat ng fruit, okay, or income, okay, from conjugal or exclusive properties under conjugal partnership of gains, conjugal property yan. Under absolute community of property regime, fruit follows principal, kaya the principal is community, kaya the fruit is also community property. Intangible personal property in Canada inherited by wife before marriage. So meron daw intangible personal property si wife na na-inherit niya before marriage. Okay? So dahil before marriage yon, exclusive property yun ni wife under conjugal partnership of gains. Under absolute community property naman, dahil na-inherit niya yon before marriage, kaya during marriage, magiging community property niya yon. Magiging exclusive property lang yun ni wife under absolute community of property kapag na-inherit niya yon during marriage. Ayan. And lastly, income of personal property in Canada. Again, under conjugal partnership of gains, all the fruits of exclusive and conjugal properties shall be considered to be conjugal property of the spouses. Ayan. Under absolute community of property, the fruit follows principal. The principal is community, and the fruit is also community. Okay? So to compute the total exclusive property, worth of the exclusive property under conjugal partnership of gains, that's 820,000. Under absolute community of property, that's 870,000. 675,000. Ayan. The conjugal properties naman under conjugal partnership of gains is 1,170,000. Under absolute community property, that's the community property is worth 1,820,000. Okay. Now, because Aldo died, so the gross estate is i-add mo lang sa exclusive and conjugal properties. Kaya mayroong 1,990,000 under absolute conjugal partnership of gains. Ito yung gross estate ni Aldo. Under absolute community properties naman, ito yung gross estate ni Aldo. Now, bakit sinali natin? 'Di ba if conjugal properties 'yan, therefore merong share dapat si wife. Bakit naging part 'yan ng gross estate ni decedent? So under the tax code, okay, lahat ng conjugal properties at lahat ng community properties will be part of the gross estate ni decedent. Okay? So, of course, okay, under the deductions, the share of the wife will also be part of the deductions naman. So, you just divide it by 2, the amount of the conjugal properties or the community property. You divide it by 2, okay, or the 50% to the wife, then that will be part of the deduction. An item of deduction.